Hey everyone, welcome into KORITE Live from JCK. We are live in the KORITE Ammolite booth here at JCK, and I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, someone that I've literally been talking about in all these live streams for you. This is John. John,
Hi,
tell
everyone.
us a little bit about your title and your long-standing relationship. Because what did you start working with KORITE like 2 days ago?
No, a little longer than that. My name's John Isa. I'm the VP of Business Development for KORITE. I've been with the company for 23 years.
He's literally done it all.
I started when I was 2.
Yes.
So
Looks so good.
I am in charge of the business development for KORITE, which means working with retailers, sales. But back when I was about 18 years old, I was running the fossil company. I'm just kidding.
That's
But,
amazing though. So like you actually run an entire segment or ran an entire segment of a division that we don't really get to talk about as much because let's be honest, we all love our jewelry. We're constantly jewelry shopping, but one of the things that's included with our really special promo that we're doing for JCK is with promo code JCK20, you get a 20% discount on anything that's listed on KORITE Ammolite's online website. So this is huge because if you are interested in a fossil or in a specimen or anything like that, all of that's included. So we thought less of a selling thing, but more of an educational kind of little live might be a little bit fun.
sounds great.
All right, so let's dive into it because this is not something that's ever going to be recreated, right? Tell us a little bit about how it formed, why it formed, and all this kind of stuff.
Well, Mother Nature is a very good cook. And to be a very good cook, you have to start with very good ingredients. And Mother Nature has that in the ammonites that were buried in southern Alberta. So they were buried in the bottom of a seabed, and they believe that the ammonites came to this area in southern Alberta, mated, and probably died.
Yeah.
So we're finding these ammonites in a good concentration in this small area. And it's just a geological fluke. It's the right kind of ammonite, buried in the right kind of soil, just the right amount of heat and pressure. As I said, Mother Nature is a very good cook.
Yes.
She follows her recipe, which formed Ammolite. And Ammolite is only found in this one small 10 square kilometer area.
And this all happened millions of years ago.
Yeah, this happened more than 71 million years ago.
So when we talk about nearly impossible to ever probably find another mine of this, unless it already exists, the chances are, and we don't know where it is,
Yeah.
the chances are we'll never find anything else like it. So it really is limited. And also, when we start to talk about the mining and everything else, there are so many different factors that go into all of this.
It's so much. We find the exact same ammonites at the exact same geological level, a little bit to the east of us, and the preservation is all different. You don't have the colors, you don't have the gorgeous thick layers of the gem material on the outside. Something was different. Something happened, and we don't really know what it is.
And this is all in the area that used to be referred to as the Bear Posse.
Yes.
Only in Alberta, Canada, and slightly into like that northern area of the United States. But I mean, really just a very small area. Now, not even all areas in the mine and all regions in the mine are created equal, am I correct?
No, you're totally right.
And pardon the noise, but we are literally live at JCK. Like what you don't see behind us, we are literally in their booth at JCK. Is the hustle bustle of the people, other booths all around us, people running back and forth, lots of things going on, but we wanted to share the live experience with you.
It's awesome to be here.
Yes, and you've been here several times.
Yeah, I've been here for a few times, but as I said, I was in charge of the fossil division, so I would be going to a lot of the fossil, rock, and mineral shows. So I wasn't as involved on the jewelry end of it. I was on the fun side.
Oh, well, it's okay. Getting back to the fun side. Even in that mine within itself, not all the ammolite is created equal. There are certain regions of that mine that have produced much better ammolite, much better quality than others.
So where we're mining right now is an area called Zone 4. And this is at the very bottom of the Bear Paw Formation. Mm-hmm. And this is actually as far east as the Bear Paw Formation goes. And the ammonite we're finding there is what's been termed as sheet ammolite.
Okay.
So this is ammolite that's been compressed down. It's very, very thin, but nobody stabilizes like Mother Nature. So when we find pieces that are suitable for gem material, they're all from these layers.
which is incredible.
Because they're stabilized by Mother Nature. It took more than 70 million years to make this so that it's a cuttable gemstone. And there's no man-made glue or technique or anything like that that could stabilize these gemstones like Mother Nature did.
And what makes the sheet Ammolite better, if you will?
It's more compressed. You get bright, vibrant colors, and it's not going to delaminate. Now, we talk about Ammolite as being light interference. So it's light reflecting and refracting through the many layers of the gemstone. But what Mother Nature has done, she's compressed those layers down as thin as they go. Now, this ammonite here, I'm going to show you just how thin it is.
It's incredible.
So if you look at that, it is probably 2 millimeters thick. And this is both sides of the fossil compressed.
Colors, like the colors though, you can really see every single color. So absolutely striking. This is all natural. Nothing is ever color enhanced. Like they don't need any help. That's one of the most incredible things, because that's a very rare thing in our gemstone world. Most gemstones out there need a little bit of help, and there's nothing wrong with that. Ammolite is all natural. Korite uses the finest materials. Now, this is actually a full ammonite fossil that is available on the website.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So all our ammonites are numbered and registered with the government of Alberta. Now, Canada has some of the strictest laws governing fossils in the world. You can't just go out and start collecting fossils. If you find a dinosaur, it actually belongs to the government of Canada.
Which, okay, can I just stop? Because you kind of did not too long ago, right?
Yeah. We found a marine reptile. Okay. It was a mosasaur.
We found a marine reptile. We found a dinosaur, guys. No, I'm just kidding. It was totally a marine reptile. But tell us a little bit about that, because we'll get back into everything with that. But this is like breaking news, if you will.
Yeah, so we were mining, and we were actually clearing off some sediment in the area. And the guy who works the backhoe, who's a magnificent guy, and he's been with us with Korite for more than 20 years, mining with us, he noticed something different in the rock. So he stopped his machine, he got out and looked, and it was actually parts of the vertebral column of this marine reptile. And we called in the government. So we called the Royal Trail Museum of Paleontology in Drumheller, and their experts come out and assess the find. And they found this marine reptile. It was a 5-meter long, they called it a Komodo dragon on steroids.
But you actually have ammonites on your website that have a bite out of this from that marine reptile. So this is cool, because it's like piecing together all the little pieces of history right underneath the dirt in the Ammolite mine. This is really extraordinary. And no two pieces will ever be identical. That's not how Ammolite works. Everything is all natural. The colors form in their own unique pattern. And one of the most fascinating things I think that you taught me about this is, so we talk a lot, and I work a lot with a lot of different cutters of the industry and inlay artists, and how difficult it is to cut some gems. Well, when it comes to cutting Ammolite and polishing it, one thing you may or may not realize, that if you over polish, you're going to lose a color.
Yeah, you'll go right through the layer,
which totally will devalue your gem. So at Korite, they have nothing but the finest. All these pieces are literally from the mine to your hands, done in Canada. Everything is done right there.
Yeah, and our staff, who we're extremely proud of, most of them have been with Korite for more than 20 years.
Cut, polish, everything.
Yeah.
Mine. So all those aspects are done by this incredible team that have literally been there throughout the heart and the soul of the whole company.
Yeah, and incredible is right. I love who I work with. And everybody brings something really amazing that somebody else doesn't bring. It's a wonderful team.
It's an amazing team.
Yeah.
So back into the fossils, just one of the most fascinating things that I did find along the way is that if you don't have a truly skilled cutter, you risk the possibility of, polishing off an entire color. And they do all of that right in your backyard, right in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
It's really an extraordinary process. And so to be able to take the time and be here with John, he has different, well, first off, just so you know, if you're shopping with us during JCK, we have created a special promo code that is only good till Tuesday of this week. JCK20, you'll receive 20% off any purchases. If you just want to hang out and learn more, we're going to go through kind of the different types of fossils, the different types of hand specimens, And it really is just an extraordinary treasure. Like, everyone is so unique. And it's not like you can be from anywhere in the world and have a fossil and sell it. You literally work directly with Canada's government.
We do, yeah.
To be able to bring these to everybody.
So when we find an ammonite in the KORITE mine, it actually doesn't belong to KORITE.
Yep.
It belongs to the Canadian government. So the Canadian government owns basically everything we find in the mine. So what we do is we assign a number for each ammonite, and then we send pictures to the government of Canada. They look at every ammonite that we find. If they find anything that's scientifically important or anything that's not represented in the provincial collection, they take them, and the rest are granted to KORITE as a gift from the Crown, even though we spent the money, the time, the resources mining it. So the Canadian government basically has first right of refusal to anything that we find.
Absolutely. And the most important thing about that is that they do work hand in hand with the Canadian government to be able to bring you these pieces, because they are little pieces of history. They truly are. They are one of a kind pieces of history that are absolute treasures. So there will be a wide variety of fossils, of hand specimens, of everything that you want to see on KORITE's website. Make sure you go over to the website, use promo code JCK20. But there's even something for, like, there's literally something for everyone. Because even if you want to just be able to own a little piece of this history, and never mind the feng shui properties. There's a lot of properties that are out there about the feng shui and about all the positive energy it brings. Lots of legend and lore behind this gemstone.
Yeah.
It's a really cool gemstone to be able to add to your collection.
It's unique because every piece is as unique as you or I.
Yes.
There's no two pieces that are the same in shape, color, size, anything like that.
No, you have two different sizes available on the website, and this is just actually one of my favorite things that you guys ever said to me is you don't waste, right? They do everything to put the mine back directly how it was, if not better.
It's too precious to waste.
Yes, and then say you are cutting a piece of Ammolite and you have the perfect piece, you might have a byproduct. So that's how you get a lot of like your hand specimen and everything else. But there are actually two options. You have a larger one and a smaller one, but you can order these, and I always like to think your perfect piece will find you.
Yep.
Because no two are going to be alike, so it's not going to be the exact picture of what you're going to get online. This is the larger one, and then we have a smaller one as well. But when you order these, you're going to get your own little unique piece of Ammolite to add to your collection of gemstones. Or crystals, for that matter.
And they're going to be green, blue, purple, everything, all the colors of the rainbow, and if you were to find one at KORITE.com or you wanted to buy one, in the comments section, just put, I prefer orange or I prefer red.
When you're cashing out on the website.
Our team will try their best to find exactly what you want.
Guys, how often is it that you can find a team that's willing to do that? So in the comment section when you're checking out, if you do have a favorite color or there's something that you'd like to see in your piece, that's extraordinary. So let's also talk about some of these guys, because these are all one-of-a-kind little pieces here.
So these are some of the hand specimens. So these are large pieces of the fossils or pieces of the negative impression counter fossils that still have some of the color on them. Now these are all individually priced, and they're all going to be different. And as you see, we've got red ones and blue ones and green ones. So here they're all individually photographed. You just have to pick the one that you like, the one that picks you. So
tell us a little bit about the sea creature that all of these came from.
So ammonites are cephalopods. So if you think of this as being like a nautilus shell or related to a squid or an octopus, and these guys roam all the seas around the world. Their fossils are found on every single continent, including Antarctica. They're used for geological dating. If you find a certain species at a certain geological level, and then if you find that other species at the same geological level, you know they're from the exact same time period, everything like that.
Which is crazy when you think about that, because I'm sure there are ones that have been found at a similar time period as what the Ammolites come to, but they don't have any color formation. So think about how extraordinary, how rare, how perfect, like John was saying, that Mother Nature had to make that recipe to bring this beautiful gem to life. So
we talk in geology about, the continents moving, and we say that Africa was at one time connected to South America.
Yep.
The Ammonites actually prove that. because you have the exact same ammonite at the same geological level on the east coast of Brazil that you have on the very west coast of Africa at the same geological level. So that proves that those land masses were at one time connected because of the ammonites. You have the exact same species of ammonite.
Unbelievable. So it really is completely fascinating. But also, when you think about the bigger picture, the fact that this only happened in Alberta, Canada, it makes it such a special treasure.
Yeah. You see some ammonites with color. You find some from the Volga River in northern Russia that have a little bit of red. I've seen some from Madagascar that have, a little bit of, that kind of purpley pink color, just like gasoline on the top of water, but it's really faint. And but the ones in southern Alberta, everything was right. The nacre was thick enough on the outside where you could actually cut a gemstone.
Which is just extraordinary. Now, I want to hold up the other big guy for a second again, because talk about vivid with the colors, right? Like, look at how unbelievable. Like, this is, so a lot of times when we talk studio lighting and everything else, and believe it or not, I will try and post some behind the scenes photos. We did try and throw up some studio lights. So to have this sort of color, it's just mesmerizing. It's captivating. Now, what is it that they think that formed all of this? Like, what was it besides the heat, the pressure? Did it just come out because of the way the signature was?
Well, it was, what basically happened is aragonite is a form of calcium carbonate. And so is calcite a form of calcium carbonate. Just like when you have carbon, you can have a diamond, or you can have, graphite, or any of those. They're all the same mineral composition. It's just a different shape. So 99% of the time, the calcium carbonate in fossils will turn to calcite. And that just happens everywhere else in the world.
Okay.
But in southern Alberta, the aragonite stayed as aragonite. And the theory is, they believe at one point there was more than 6 miles of sediment on top of these guys. That's 10 kilometers of sediment on top. So that immense pressure kept the aragonite as aragonite. So you never
It basically kind of sealed it right in there.
Yeah, that pressure did it. So the aragonite didn't turn to calcite like it did everywhere else in the world.
Which is unreal.
Yeah, it's just a geological fluke.
Now, tell me a little bit, because we went to and we talked a little bit about that sheet ammolite, but tell us how that formed, because that formed in a very special way, and I loved how you explained this to me, because there were all these layers to the earth.
Yeah, so we have all the geology, and the ammonites that we find in southern Alberta are found in the Bear Paw Formation. Now, in the Bear Paw Formation, you have all kinds of layers in there. We have zones that we call the 5-pack and the 3-pack and the K-zone and the McGrath Sandstone. These are all subsections of the Bear Paw shape. So these layers, the St. Mary's River actually cuts through these layers. So the layers aren't perfectly horizontal. They're kind of skewed a little bit. And how I described it to you was, if you have a pile of books and they tip over,
such a good description.
You're going to see those lines, and they're going to be at a bit of an angle. So where we're mining right now is the far east side of the Bear Paw Shale. And if you think of those books lying on the side, we're at the very bottom of the Bear Paw Formation.
So that would be where the most weight was.
It's not really about weight. For the ammonites, it's about burial.
Yes.
It was the rapid burial. Now, these ammonites were buried very fast. So the inner chambers of the ammonites, if I can pull this one. So dirt, if you look at this, it's a little bit fatter here at the end, and it's very thin at the top. So when it was buried, it was very rapid, and the dirt only came in about this far. This area of the ammonite had nothing inside it, so it was hollow.
Yep.
So when the weight of the world was on top of it, it crushed right down. Now, we find ammonites from other geological levels in the Bear Paw Formation, and those areas have a very slow burial. So at that time, it took maybe 2 or 3 seasons or years for this ammonite to be buried. So inside the ammonite, every nook and cranny was filled with dirt and sediment. So when the weight of the world was on it, it still maintained its shape. But that crushing leads to the amazing colors we see. Now, I have to stress one thing. So the main thing KORITE is looking for in their mine is the gem material. And we make the gemstones from the broken pieces or fragments that we find. And truly, probably 99% of what we find are broken pieces or fragments.
And that's not a bad thing. The quality in them isn't extraordinary, but you have to think about, against all odds, if say we take that bookcase and we put it into layers of earth, and if it falls over onto something, what are the chances that it would remain whole?
But I just want to stress that KORITE would never take a whole ammonite and cut it up and turn it into gemstones.
Because again, you think about that, like naturally, the majority of whatever you're mining is going to have shattered into pieces when that happens.
Yeah.
So finding something like this, though, is so rare, like as a whole piece, which is again why the Canadian government steps in and, you know, you work hand in hand with them, because they truly are a treasure of history and truly something that is a fluke against nature, something that should have probably never kept its form did.
Yeah, exactly. And with KORITE, we do everything right when it comes to the fossils. They're all numbered, registered with the government. If we find anything unique, we actually give it to them. And we use export permits. We get federal export permits to ship our ammonites out of the country. So all the paperwork is done the right way, and that gives the fossil some provenance. So if you were to have an ammonite, and let's say you lived in Australia, you would have all the documentation that says, yes, it was shipped out of the country properly. It was mined the right way. It was registered with the province of Alberta. It received its disposition number. All that is done. And just like, you know, buying a fine painting or a relic or something from the past, it has that history. And in my opinion, that's almost as valuable as the fossil itself.
100%. It's such a great story. So now tell us a little bit more about your journey with Ammolite. So we've talked about the fossils. Let's talk about you. So you were on this great journey with them for such a long time now.
Yeah. Well, I've been with the company 23 years. Mm-hmm. And I started as basically a stock boy in the back.
Good for you, John. That's what we like to hear.
And I worked my way up. And now I'm the VP of business development.
He's got to double check.
I keep forgetting the title. So.
But he has literally been such an intricate part of this company for so long. So we wanted to share his knowledge because it's a degree of knowledge that we don't often get to talk about, because again, the fossils are rare. Like, they are hard to come by. Yeah. You know, it's not that there's an abundance. What we find is what we find, and they are literally cherished treasures. So it's something that we really wanted to share a little bit more information with you guys on. And if there are ever any questions or anything like that, make sure you leave them on our Facebook page so we can go back and answer them for you.
I'm usually answering probably about 4 or 5 questions a week.
Yeah.
Some easy, some not so easy.
That's people get you. People get you. But again, we are live here at JCK, so we wanted to take the moment and share some more information on how unique and how wonderful and how extraordinary this gemstone is. If you are at JCK, stop by and visit us. Make sure you come say hello. We have just incredible pieces to show you, launching all kinds of fabulous new collections. If you're back home and you just want to experience a little bit of the shopping along with us, you can use promo code JCK20 to receive 20% off your purchase of KORITE Ammolite online on their website. So definitely take advantage of that. But John, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
And you will see him, I'm sure, more around our Facebook page, more and more. He loves to share his knowledge with you guys. So if you do have any questions, please make sure you go ahead and ask them in the comments. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for your time.